Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So I got this video here, this little clip I ran up on, and this is a perfect example of how chicks nowadays, the young ones and some of the middle-aged ones too, try this. Try crying to keep your man, but it's just a manipulation tactic. This is when crying is manipulation, right? Every time a woman cries, it's not to manipulate, but a lot of times when they get to crying in situations like this, and I'm gonna let you look at the clip and then I'm gonna explain what these situations are and how to tell a difference when a woman is crying just because she's overwhelmed with emotion due to the conversation, or she's trying to use Waterworks in order to manipulate the whole situation to her favor. So let's play the clip.
Kid now, you want a house now, you want a marriage now, you want everything right now. When do you look at what I want? Never have you asked what I want. Not once.
Here.
No, not once have you asked what I want. This whole fucking relationship. It's always when you want what April wants when she wants it.
Sorry.
No, it's literally. I've tried to explain this to you before. I keep a lot of shit in.
I don't want you to keep anything in with me.
Well, I can't talk to you about it because you get mad at me and then it starts another argument. Every fucking time.
That hurts for you to feel like that because I do not want you to ever feel like that because you are so important to me. And I'm sorry.
Why?
And I'm sorry. But, like, we do compromise on certain
We
things.
don't compromise.
Like,
There's never been a compromise. It's always what how many times have I repeated this? It's always what April wants when she wants it. Should I just stay with you because you're crying and I feel bad, or should I look out for what I really want in life? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Understand what I've been trying to explain to you this whole damn time? You want to kidnap?
Okay, so I'm pausing it right here, but I actually kind of want to go back over it, like, and pause it within. He's expressing very clearly in this first sentence what it is he wants. So we're going to go step by step because I want to point some stuff out.
Now, you want a marriage now, you want everything right now. When do you look at what I want?
Boom, right there. Right there. What he just said was the whole crux of the issue for him. The whole crux of the issue, the entire problem in the relationship. This, he just expressed the root of it. Why he may respond the way that he responds, or pull back the way that he does, or think whatever it is, however it is that he's responding and reacting, he's giving the cause for any behavior that he engages, whether that be shut down or whatever. He's telling her, you're selfish in this relationship, in a nutshell. Everything in the relationship is about you. It's about the stuff that you want. It's about when you want it. It's about how you want it. And never once do you genuinely stop to consider, to ask, to inquire about what do I want as the other person in this relationship. How can you bring something to this relationship that benefits me? Right? Remember that I tell people, even though I don't think these two people are married, they just seem to be dating. But when you get into these relationships, your job is to fulfill the needs and the rights of the other person, not your own. Not your own. That's not your job to make sure that your needs and rights are fulfilled. Your job is to make sure their needs and rights are fulfilled. In return, their job is to make sure your rights and your needs are met. That is the job. That's the assignment. So it's not a situation of being in a relationship where none of your needs and rights get met. It's just that it's not supposed to be your job to make sure that you only extract out of relationship. These two people are supposed to come together to give something to one another, not take from one another. That's the key. That's the missing link. Everybody's getting into these relationships for whatever it is they want to get out of the relationship, when really the correct perspective is to come into the relationship with your hand open so you can give, not with your hand open so you can take. Because what you receive out of the relationship isn't what you took from it. It is what that other person is giving you. And if they are meeting your needs, fulfilling your rights, things of that nature, then this is what makes for a good relationship. You should be supposed to be trying to look out for their rights. You're supposed to be trying to look out for their needs. And he's telling her right now, you never do that. I'm never seen in this relationship. Just like women be saying, oh, I want to be seen. Men want to be seen in the relationship, and they want to be poured back into. That is what pour into means. Pouring into means in this relationship, I am not so concerned about making sure that I extract my rights and I extract my needs out of you. I'm more concerned with making sure that I fulfill that for you. If I'm fulfilling that for you, that is me pouring into you. Now, you pouring into me is you doing the same thing with me. That's the reciprocity. That's the pouring into. That's what that means. So if that's done properly, everybody's needs is being met. If that's done properly, everybody's rights is being observed. If that's done properly, then each person is getting out of this relationship everything that they need. But if you come into the relationship selfish, well, I'm only with this person to see what they can give to me, how they can serve me, how they can benefit me. That's not the correct approach. But a lot of times these women approach these relationships precisely like that. What can I get out of him? What can I get him to do for me? What can I get him to give me? Without ever thinking once, what can I give to him? We can keep going.
Never have you asked what I want. Not once.
Here.
No, not once.
Then she does this. Come here. She wants to pet him up. Listen, ladies, that's not the answer to a conversation like this. That's not the answer, because he's not upset. You're upset. Well, I'll put it like this. He's not crying. You're crying. He's not crying. He may be upset, but he's not emotional. So he don't need to be petted up. This is not your little son or your little nephew or your little brother. He don't need to be hugged and petted on, because right now you the problem. So he don't want his problem hugging him right now, because the hug doesn't do anything. The reason why he reject this kind of motion is because it says a couple of things. The first thing is you trying to shut him up and get him into an emotional space that you can then try to pet it away and make it go away. He's actually, when men are having conversations with you like this, they're in a logical space. They're not in an emotional space. So that emotional trying to reach out emotionally to him at this time doesn't mean anything. The second reason that it doesn't mean anything at this particular time is, first of all, he hasn't gotten it all out. Secondly, and most importantly, you have not demonstrated understanding of what he just said. You have not acknowledged it. She just want to go over there and hug, but she has not once listened attentively and acknowledged what he said and validated what he said and validated his experience of her. She never once did. She never does. She just reaches for a hug. That's not going to make it go away, ladies. This is not, this is 101 how not to handle these conversations, because this is not the first time he's had these conversations. And she does the same thing in the conversation, which is why he's rejecting it as well. Because I don't want to deal with the crocodile tears. I don't want to deal with you hugging me and petting me. I don't want to be petted. I don't want to be petted. I want you to hear what I'm saying. And I want you to understand it and understand it well. That's what I'm trying to get through to you. You in this emotional space because you feel a certain type of way and you trying to get me to feel a certain type of way. So trying to reach for a hug and a kiss in the middle of your man trying to express to you his issues with you and his concerns in this relationship with you, that's not the time to do that at all. He's going, it's going to tick him off, because now you're not listening. You're not listening. Console yourself. You the one crying.
Once have you asked what I want? This whole fucking relationship. It's always when she wants what April wants when she wants it.
Sorry.
No, it's
Red flag. She's not acknowledging it. Sorry you feel that way. Sorry you feel that way. Red flag. Because saying I'm sorry you feel that way is not accountability. That's not accountability. You're saying that you have sympathy for them feeling a certain way, as if you didn't have anything to do with how they're responding right now. He's responding to her consistent selfishness. He's responding to her consistently and persisting in something that he's had a conversation with her before about. This is the other thing. This is why these tears are manipulation. Now I'm going to get to that part. How to tell when the tears are manipulative. If she give you crocodile tears, and this is not the first time that you have had this conversation with her, this is conversation number 3, 4, 5. And every time you have these conversations with her, she cries, but there's no change in behavior. That's when it's manipulation. That's when it's manipulative. That's when it's waterworks to try to make you feel bad so things can go back to normal, or her version of normal. She's just trying to shut it down. As this is precise, this is especially so when she doesn't change the behavior, because the crying is not an acknowledgement of the problem. It's not accountability and it's not responsibility. Anytime somebody don't take the accountability and responsibility, it's manipulative. Now, if she's crying, but she's also taking accountability, she's acknowledging your point, she's acknowledging your experience of her, even if it's negative. And then after these conversations are over, you see changed behavior, then that crying was just her being overwhelmed, possibly by the realization that she was not showing up good for you in this relationship. And I say that because I've done that before. Husband come to you and tell you and tells you that these are the concerns, or he has a concern with you. You might not have been aware that he felt that way, or that you did something or said something or had a habit or what have you that made him have a negative experience of you. And so now he's bringing it to you in order for it to be corrected. Now, as a lioness, I'm overwhelmed emotionally, not because I don't want him to talk about it, but because now he's bringing to light something that I have done wrong to him. I've wronged him some kind of way, but I don't want to wrong him. I genuinely don't want to wrong him. I want him to have good experiences with me. So his concern and him bringing it to me means that I failed somewhere along the way. And that's where the emotion come from. I failed him. I let him down in some kind of way. something I did or some habit I do or some behavior that I have, he may have observed it a couple of times and it makes him feel this way or that. And so he's now bringing it to me. And this is not something that warms my heart. It does, because it doesn't warm my heart to know that I've done something to make my husband not, you know what I'm saying, he don't like it. So the tears are not always manipulation, but in cases like this, it is manipulation. She's doing the waterworks just to try to make it go away. But it's not going away because she doesn't acknowledge it. Even here, she's not acknowledging. I'm sorry you feel that way. That's horrible. That's one of the most horrible things you can say to somebody. Here they are showing up, being vulnerable with you. He's being vulnerable with her right now. This is male vulnerability. They don't be crying and stuff. He's coming to her and saying, and I'm telling you, this ain't the first time. This is probably conversation number 5 or 6 that he's telling her, listen, this is what it is. And I'm pretty much checked out because I've had this conversation before. You do the crocodile tear routine. You be cool for a second. And then you go right back to the behavior that caused the problem in the first place. This is how I know you playing. This is how I know you playing. Because you only feeling bad because I'm saying it. But you not really feeling bad for the purpose of, man, let me change my behavior around. Let me correct what's going on, because I don't ever want to have this conversation again. I don't ever want to have my husband come to me for this no more. So let me tighten up. Let me get myself together. Let me get my mind right so I can show up right for him. Because there's nothing make a man feel better than to bring something to you that needs correcting and you do the self-correction. And it's like, oh, okay. That make him more free to talk to you about different concerns, because even though you may cry, and sometimes men do get annoyed with it, whether the tears are manipulative or not, they because they don't be understanding what's making you cry. Here's a hot tip. If you're having a hard conversation with your husband and you become overwhelmed emotionally and he comes to comfort you, don't let him comfort you. And the reason I'm saying that is because you don't want to turn it into him, it's about you or it's about your reaction. Tell him, I'm okay. Just keep going. I'm listening. I'm listening to you. Don't mind this. Please keep talking. Reassure him that your tears, even though you feel emotional, we're not going to turn this in from addressing his concerns to addressing your feelings. We're not going to turn it around. You want to hear his full experience. You want him to fully communicate it to you, regardless of whether or not it made you cry.
Literally, I've tried to explain this to you before. I keep a lot of shit in.
I don't want you to keep anything in with me.
Well, I can't talk to you about it because you get mad at me and then it starts another argument.
Exactly. This is another mistake, ladies. Whenever your man comes to you and he has a concern and the concern is you, the defensiveness, that's what he means by you get mad about it and then it's an argument, because she gets defensive. Well, I'm not doing that. Oh, why? Yeah, trying to justify it, trying to make sure you're right in the situation. And it's not for you to be right in the situation. It's not for you to be correct. You don't need to be correct. Why do you need to be correct? This is about him. That's what I'm trying to get the ladies to understand. In conversations like this, where he has the issue with you, it's about him. It's not about how you feel about what he's saying. It's about how he feel right now. what he's been thinking right now. He said he holds it in. Men do that. When they realize that every time they come to you with a concern, you spaz out, get real defensive, start crying, start having all these reactions, and then it's got to be about how you felt bad about what he said. He stopped talking to you, but it doesn't go away. That's the key you got to remember. Just because he ain't talking about it don't mean it went away. You think it's back to normal. It's not back to normal. He just shutting up about it right now. He's going to maybe try to give this another try later on. But he's making mental note that you don't make the corrections. And you're not listening. And you're not acknowledging and validating nothing that he's saying. You just having an emotional reaction. And then now he got to coddle it. That's not the solution.
Every fucking time.
That hurts for you to feel like that because I do not want you to ever feel like that because you are so important to me. And I'm sorry.
Why?
And I'm sorry. But like we do compromise on certain
we
things.
Don't compromise.
Like,
there's never been a compromise. It's always what.
And then there's the defensiveness. The defense showed up. But we do kind of compromise it. But he's like, there's never been a compromise. She thinks that because he shuts up, it's a compromise. She ain't ever sacrificed nothing for him for this relationship to work. Nothing. She's never stopped doing something. She's never done it. And even if she did, she throw it up in his face. I stopped going out in the club for you and da 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 da. That's not how it worked either. And I'm sorry, they're throwing out them little sorries. That's not helping. In this clip, he has stated his issue at least 2 to 3 times, and she still has not acknowledged it. She has not acknowledged taking accountability or responsibility, not one time. She's deflecting, she's defending, she's trying to cry her way out of it, but she doing everything but listening. She doing everything but listening, which negates her earlier statement about you mean so much to me. When your husband means something to you, when your spouse means something to you, when they come to you and they are concerned about something, especially that came more than one time with that same concern, and you keep blowing it off, that's not good. That's not good. You got to do some more digging for it. You got to do some more digging. You got to do some more digging. You got to find out where the root of that is at, so that the correction can be made and y'all can get past that point with a resolution. And a lot of times when you resolve things like that, it actually make the marriage and the relationship stronger. It doesn't weaken it, it strengthens it. Running away from the problem weakens it. Trying to act like it's not a problem weakens it. Trying to deflect away from it weakens it, because you erode the trust. Now your partner, just like women be wanting to trust their heart with their men want to trust their heart with you too. And if you make this a place where there's no trust in that area, he can't do it. He can't. He gonna start emotionally disconnecting. And it's hurtful for them. They just don't express it the same way women do. But what they'll start doing is shutting off emotionally. They'll just shut it off, and they'll just start going through the motions. And then once he starts going through the motions, now you feel the disconnect. Now you trying to figure out why he disconnected, and it become a vicious cycle.
How many times have I repeated this? Always what April wants when she wants it. Should I just stay with you because you're crying and I feel bad, or should I look out for what I really want in life? Do you understand where I'm coming from?
No, she don't understand.
Understand what I've been trying to explain to you this whole damn time. You want to kidnap.
Right. And this is what the manipulating Waterworks is for, to make him feel bad so everything can just go back and she can continue to do and move in a relationship how she been moving without making no changes and never was accountable for nothing. And he's absolutely right. Should I stay with you because I feel bad because you crying? Or do I really need to step back away from this stuff because I'm not getting none of my needs met? I'm not seen in a relationship. I'm not respected. Ain't no space in a relationship for me. Everything is for you. Everything got to be done on your timetable. Everything got to be done to your liking, and ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. This is a perfect example of when women don't think that men are actually in these relationships too. And you don't think that you have nothing to do in a relationship except for take. You have to give. You have to give as much as you take, or you have to give more than you take. And that is when you reach selflessness. That's when you reach love. A love that can be trusted. A love that's more than just your words. And more than just an emotion that you feel from time to time. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, is the Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.